very good afternoon to all of you. A very good afternoon to all of you. Today I am here for the topic computer network attacks. Let's start with the computer network security. It means how these attacks harms our security. Whatever the requirement to keep our securities. The first is system correctness. First of all, we should know what is the system correctness that we have to maintain. That is, if user supplies expected input, system generate desired output. It means whatever the input we are giving and is the output we are desired, that should be accurate. Next comes the security. If attacker supplies unexpected input, the system does not fail in certain ways. The system should provide us the acquired or the accurate output to us. That means the security can be conserved. So first is system correctness and the other is security from the any unauthorized or unexpected attacks. Now we categorize the types of attack generally into the two ways. The one is the passive attacks and the active attacks. Passive attacks are those attacks in which content and data stream is observed and then utilized in future for the malicious purposes. For example, they hack your password, they hack your sensitive data, and they sat silently behind the scene. They just watch for the accurate time or exact time when they can harm to your system, to your data. But the active attacks are those attacks that causes the major threats to the computer systems. And now we will discuss these types of attacks in detail. In the active attacks, we have mainly four types of active attacks. The very first is virus. As we all aware, a computer virus is a software program, or we can say a malware program, which can cause a lot of damage to the content and the operation of the system. Once the virus enter your computer, enter your system, it damages your content. It multiplies its copies, it lowers your speed, etc., and your data or your operation of the system may be destroyed. The next is Rootkit. Rootkit is also one of the administrative level privileges. It also provides some administrative privileges to the hacker through a set of program. This rootkit is a name derived from the root directory in Unix. Means this is also a virus that affects the root directory of the Unix system, in which we all aware that the root directory is the main directory which provide the privileges to all other directories, so that who can read the data, who can write the data, who only can read the data and who can also update the data. So this virus affect the administrative level privileges of the and making the more damage to your system. The third is Trojan. It is a hidden malware utilized by hacker for malicious attack. These Trojans are generally come from the source of internet in the hidden files, which are not caught by you immediately, but these causes harm to your system, can causes harm to your data, etc. The last is the worm. Worm is a self-reproducing malware which infect the data without any assistant. It does not need any assistant. What the worm doing, it replicate itself whenever you are clicking on a file which is infected from the worm. It replicates itself whenever you are using this file, and in this way it utilizes your memory. It damages to the speed of the computer as well. Now comes the types of passive attacks. Passive attacks are those attacks in which your data is first they take your data and then making harm in the later on stages. The first is eavesdropping. Eavesdropping is nothing but secretly capture and read many confidential information on the network. In this type of attack, hackers secretly listen your data, secretly listen your important sensitive data on the network, and they use your information, like they hack your password, they hack your username, they hack your bank details, etc., and use on the later on stages whenever they find it well, and so that they can harm to your computer. The next is the password based attack. If it is to get password access and then change, delete or amend the network configuration. Once they take your password, they secretly sit behind you and change your data, delete your data, amend your data, your network, and change your network configuration whenever they seen it fruitful for them. Then comes the denial of service attack. Denial of service means it is the deprived of the services and information. It means you did the work and you do not say that I have done it. You deprive to the services. If a hacker doing the unauthorized attack and they are not taking the risk on or responsibility, it means it is the denial of service attack. Then comes the compromised key attack. In this compromised key attack, attacker get the secret code which is called the compromised key to encrypt or validate the secret data. As we do in the encryption and decryption, we are using some encryption algorithm. In the compromised key attacks, hacker hack the algorithms on which sender encrypting the code and the receiver decrypting the code. They hack this code, which you say the encryption code or decryption code, and changes your data over the network. So this is also very dangerous type of attack. Next comes the identity spoofing. Identity spoofing is a attack in the attacker gains the unauthorized access over the network or computer system by utilizing the IP address. It means he taken over your IP address, he is your IP addresses for unauthorized attacks. This is known as the identity spoofing, in which the user hides its identity. He is on the network on some other with the reference of some another identity. It is known as identity spoofing. Identity spoofing, the English meaning means hiding your identity. So in this identity spoofing attack, attacker uses your IP addresses to make the unauthorized access over the internet. The last type of application attack is the application layer attack. This application layer attack, in these types of attack, this deliberately target the server's operating system and applications. Once the damage has occurred, intruder bypass the access control and can easily get the control over the server applications, system, data and other associated users. So this is also very dangerous type of attack which attack on the operating system. Operating system is a software which helps to communicate to your hardware to the software. So when the communication stop and the whole of the work on your computer will be get finished. So this application layer attack is also very dangerous. Next, the term comes the social engineering. We are all 95% we all are affected from social engineering. Social engineering is nothing but the one of the most effective routes to stealing confidential data from the organization. According to the Siemens Enterprise Communication based in Germany, in the recent Simon test, 85% of the office workers were duped by engineers. Means they come to you, they are becoming your friend and saying, oh, you're very nice, you're very good, and they with their polite behavior, they taken out your information, your very sensitive information, and uses that information for the unauthorized access. This is known as social engineering. So here we will discuss what is in the mind of the social engineer, how they take you, how they hack you, how they making confidence over you. So as I can say, these type of social engineer hackers are not hackers, they are the actors. They are more like actors than hacker. They act like they are your well wishers, but they are not your well wishers. By talking you politely, they get your information, they get your personal information from you and use that information for the unauthorized access. Means they use this data to steal your bank details, to make the crime over the internet. They learn to know how people feel by observing their actions. They observe you from time to time, they observe you, what are your habits, what are your likes, what are your dislikes, and then they come to you and making target to you. They can alter these feelings by changing what they say and do. Means they are very professional in their work. They whatever they are doing to you, you are not aware, you are hacking by the social engineering. They make the victim want to give them information they need. Once they get the information from you, they passes the data, they passes the information to the hackers who are professional hackers. They hack your data, they hack your bank data, they hack your all sensitive data over the network. So from the safety purposes, from these such type of social engineering, we should never give out our username, our password, our ID number, our PIN number, our server names, our system information, credit card numbers, schedules, our sensitive data to anybody. We should never give out. Even we should not rely upon such a person's to whom you don't know from many of the times. So never give such our sensitive data, your very sensitive data to anybody, so that you can be attacked by such hackers over the network. Never click on such sites, never give your data over the network, so that you may be attacked by some unauthorized skills, or you may be targeted by the crime over the network. So here are some techniques that social engineers use to hack the data. One is the web. As we all know, web, we all doing internet over the times and clicking on so and so attachment, so and filling the so many forms over the network, a name, passwords, etc., bank account number, where we are doing. Even we are giving our personal information on social net sites like Facebook, like Twitters. We are saying WhatsApp, etc. We giving our swear information on. So we should never give our sensitive data on Facebook, on Twitters, on such a site from where hackers can utilize your data for making you fool over the network and stealing your bank details, your etc., and make harm to you and your money as well. Phone calls, as we sometime we attend such a calls that we are calling from this life insurance, we are calling from that, we want to follow you, we want to this and this, we are giving you such a trip to there, we give you a free gift, you are selected by. We get such calls, the fake calls, and if we are giving response to such fake calls or giving our sensitive data to the such callers, it means we are hacked by the social engineer who politely making you comfortable with them, making you friend to you, but they are not, and giving you are giving your sensitive data to them. So stop responding to such a fake calls. Then comes the phone system, PBX. PBX is such a system which connects to network over the network. So this is also the one of the way in which we spread our sensitive data over the network to whom we do not see, to whom we do not know, and giving our name, father name, address, so and so to somebody, and can get attacked by the cyber crime. So we should never give our such sensitive data over the network. Then comes the email spoofing. Email spoofing is nothing when the mail comes to you, when the mail come with a name that is aman@gmail.com. So who is Aman? Aman can be anyone. It can be your teacher, it can be your friend, it can be your anything. But if you are receiving any email, you are giving our sensitive data through the mail to other person, but you are not checking that whether the person or the man to whom you are sharing the data is the right person or to whom you're giving your data. So email spoofing is when somebody spoof you, somebody make fool of you and getting your information from using the email. Then comes the phishing attack. Phishing attack are those attack when the crime or the hacking is done using the email. When the user first authenticate you, checking your validity, whether you are valid person, you are giving a true details or not, and when they get your details and making harm to you. Here you see the next is the shoulder surfing. When you are typing any work, you are doing, you are filling any password, somebody cheats you and making the screen logging you and seeing what are the keys you are typing and making mind, and then transfer that important information to the hackers, and they can, so that they can hack the data easily. So it can be also one of the way shoulder surfing, when somebody stand behind you and seeing what are the keys you are typing while filling your password, while filling your bank details, by filling your usernames, etc. So this is also one of the point where you have to taken care that nobody is standing over your shoulder when you are doing any important information over the network. Then comes the keylogger or ghost. Means they suppose you type the any three letters on the on your keyboard, and they see the three letters and make the permutation, make the combination that what the password you have entered over the, and they get your password and they can change your data, they can update your data unauthentically and making fool to you. Then comes the caller ID spoofing. Then the person with calling you with some other identity. This is the one of the way when you are hacked and you can making harm to your data, etc. Then comes the impersonation. Impersonation is the one of the way when you act like somebody. You act like somebody and calling somebody and use whatever you are and hiding your true identity. It means you are impersonating and hacking the data. Then is the one of the type of crime is the guessing password. So during typing your password or making your password, setting your password, you have to taken care. So password guessing is a technique using softwares to test all the possible combinations to gain entry into a system or the network. Suppose you type the 5-letter keywords and they make all possible combinations using that 5 words and make entry to your system and get access to every your sensitive data. Some attacks speed up this process by trying commonly used combination. For example, first words in the dictionary. They check the dictionary, whatever the making possible words they can and type, and they can easily enter your system. So there are some solution to solve this problem. Then how you can restrict somebody to guess so they cannot guess your password very easily. So while setting the password, these are some points, these 4 points you should taken care while setting the passwords. So enforce sound password policies, means you can make such a password they only recognize your voice. For example, mandating minimum length of password, periodic changes in the password. You should periodically change your password after a week or after a month, etc. And the maximum or minimum length of the password should be maintained. It should contain the special letters, etc. So the password guessing cannot be made so easy. Then you can enforce stringent access control. For example, disable user IDs after multiple unsuccessful logon attempts. So there should such a provision that if somebody are trying to use your password, then you should say that after 3 attempts, if there are after 3 wrong attempts, there your control is the control of guessing the password will be disabled, and then the message come to you that somebody want to enter to your system. Then the third what you can do is meticulously change all default passwords on critical network component. Means when you are using any critical network component, for example your bank details, etc., then you change the default password as early as you can. The fourth point is you have to provide the adequate guidance to the customer on security precautions. Means you are giving the customer the actually what the password they have to be, the means about the length of the password should be maximum. You should use any one big letter, one uppercase letter, one small case letter, one special character, etc. The maximum length of the password should be maintained so that the guessing of the password should not be done or so easy to guess the password. The one of the technique of the social engineering is piggy backdoor entry. Whenever the any software or developers develop any software, they leave some loopholes to the software for the maintenance purposes, but this hackers uses this piggy backdoor entry to attack the system. They get to the hackers find such a loopholes in the software to enter the system and make harm to the system or your crucial data, etc. Next comes the bugs and backdoors. A backdoor is a method of bypassing normal authentication procedure. Many computer manufacturers pre-install backdoor on their system to provide technical support for the customers. Hackers typically use backdoor to secure remote access to the computer while attempting to remain hidden from casual inspection. To install backdoor, hackers can either Trojan horse or computer worms. So this backdoor is a method, is the bypassing method to enter the normal authentication procedure. These backdoors uses the Trojan horses or computer worms. They use the viruses to make such a spaces in your system, in your software, so they can easily get the access and can remain hidden from the casual inspections. And in this bugs and backdoors, the pieces of program code written into the applications or operating system to grant programmer access to programs without the need to go through the normal security controls. They can either recognize some special sequence of input or is triggered by run from a certain user ID, which is then grant special access right accordingly. Programmers typically use backdoor to achieve faster access, to facilitate debugging or monitoring of the programs that they are developing. Backdoor become a problem when the programmer forget to remove a backdoor after debugging. Means these backdoors are used by the programmers for debugging, but after the debugging they should be stopped or they should be closed. But when the debugger or when the programmer forget to do this, then this backdoor become a way to the hacker's crime. Then further, an attacker can create a backdoor for this future access after gaining access to one of the account. So there are some suggested solution to stop from these bugs and backdoors. What we should done, once the certification from vendors that product contain no undocumented backdoors and accept system only from trusted sources. Means we can get the sign from the vendor that there is a no any backdoor in the software. Put in place stringent system development and change control procedures such that system can normally be put into the production use only after through the testing of the confirm that no backdoor have been included in the system. Then comes the regular integrity checks on a program used in a production to ensure that programs have not been altered. Then comes the authenticate failure. When we are not getting access to enter the valid system, we say it is the authentication failure. This can be done due to the device denying the connection. When there is a no connection to enter the system, or means we have no password, we have no username, then we said we cannot enter the system, that we are not authorized to do access the system, then we say it is authenticate failure. Authenticate failure is due to incorrect password. When authentication fail due to an incorrect password, a dialog prompting the user to enter their authenticated password appears. The current password is displayed but masked with the asterisk. So when we forget the password or we do not have the access to enter the system, then we say it is authenticate failure. Next comes the protocol failures. In crypto system, where the message is first converted to numbers which are then acted on, then the several pitfalls which need to be avoided known as protocol failure. The first is dictionary attack. A dictionary attack on a crypto system occurs when it is possible to take all the components that are used to make up a plain text and encrypt them separately. Then comes the RSA common module failure. In this problem occur when we choose the wrong random number for making the key. Protocol is the encryption algorithm. When the encryption algorithm fails, we said the protocol failure. What is denial of service? The main aim to stop the victim machine from doing it is required job. Servers unable to provide service to legitimate clients. Damage done varies from minor inconvenience to major financial losses. Then the types of denial of services attack are three. The first is bandwidth consumption. When all the available bandwidth are used by the attackers, we said this is the bandwidth consumption. Then comes the resource consumption. Resources like web server, print or mail server flooded with useless requests, we said the resource consumption. Then last come is the network connectivity. The attacker forces the server to stop communicating on the network, then it is said to be the network connectivity attack. In the denial of service attack, no targeted at gaining access to the network or system. Instead, it aims at disrupting the service of the network or system under attack by flooding it with more information or service requests than it can handle. DOS attack can be initiated at one or multiple sources. In a distributed denial of service attack, a single attacker deliberately introduces DOS attack programs into the dozen or even hundreds of other systems by various techniques of online attacks. The attacker then simultaneously initiates all those DOS attack programs to bombard the target network or the system. An attempt to make a computer resources unavailable to its intended user. It also typically the target are high profile web server, and the attack attempts to make the hosted web pages unavailable to the internet. Not all services outages, even those that result from malicious activity, are necessarily DOS attacks. Other types of attack may include denial of service as a component, but the denial of service may be a part of a large attack. Although the direct impact of DOS attack may be disruption to services rather than immediate security breaches, Their occurrences may affect the working of certain security measures and hence it increases the probability of security breaches. The DOS attack have two general forms. The first is force the victim computers to reset or consume its resources such that it can no longer provide its intended services. Means either it is resetting itself again and again, or it consuming all your resources so that you cannot do your work. And the second is obstruct the communication media between the intended user and the victim so that they can no longer communicate